Someone is reading this sentence right now who will be dead before the week is over. Not because of illness, not because of bad luck, because they went to work. And the strangest part? They knew. They packed their bag, kissed someone goodbye, and walked into a situation with a measurable, documented probability of killing them. Not a theoretical risk, a statistical certainty spread across the workforce. A number actuaries have already calculated, already priced, already filed in a spreadsheet somewhere in an insurance office nobody ever visits. We've spent centuries building a world designed to be safe. Seatbelts, helmets, warning labels on coffee cups. And yet, right now, in 2024, there are men and women doing jobs so dangerous that their industry accepts a body count the way weather accepts rain. Predictable, seasonal, already accounted for. You've probably never thought about them. And that's the part that should unsettle you. Most people, when they think of dangerous work, picture war zones, soldiers, bomb disposal, something dramatic and obvious and far away, something that at least looks like it should be dangerous. The danger is visible. It makes sense. But the jobs that are actually killing people right now don't look dangerous. They look ordinary. They look like someone's dad going to work on a Tuesday. They look like a pickup truck pulling out of a driveway at 5 a.m. The most lethal workplaces on Earth don't have explosions. They have paperwork, safety briefings, health and safety coordinators who file reports after the fact. And here's the question that nobody in a comfortable office ever asks. Why do these jobs still exist? Not in some abstract policy sense, but genuinely, why does a civilization capable of sending robots to Mars still need human beings to do things that will reliably kill them? The answer is stranger than you think, and it says something deeply uncomfortable about who we've decided matters. The Bureau of Labor Statistics tracks workplace fatalities in the United States every year. It's a quiet document, dry, numbered, but buried inside it is something that reads less like a spreadsheet and more like an indictment. Logging workers die at a rate of roughly 97 per 100,000. That means for every 100,000 people cutting trees, nearly 100 don't come home. To put that in scale, police officers, a job most people instinctively consider dangerous, die at around 14 per 100,000. Firefighters, around 7. The loggers are dying at nearly 7 times the rate of firefighters. And nobody is making documentaries about them. The physics of the job explains part of it. A mature tree can weigh 100,000 pounds. It falls at unpredictable angles, influenced by wind, rot invisible to the eye, subtle ground incline, and the behavior of neighboring trees. When a logger misjudges any single variable, the correction time is measured in fractions of a second. The trees don't care about experience. Some of the most seasoned workers in the industry have been killed by what colleagues describe as a nothing cut, a routine fell, a tree they'd done 1,000 times before. But here's what makes this particular fact harder to set down. The logging industry has known these numbers for decades. The deaths are not a mystery to be solved. They are a cost already factored in. Now go underwater. Commercial divers, the ones who weld pipelines, inspect oil rigs, and repair infrastructure on the ocean floor, operate in an environment that kills in ways that have no equivalent on land. One of them is called shallow water blackout. A diver hyperventilates before a dive to extend their breath hold. It works. Oxygen drops slowly. The blackout arrives without warning, without struggle, without any sensation at all. The diver simply loses consciousness and sinks. The body is sometimes not recovered for days. Another is decompression sickness. Nitrogen dissolves into the bloodstream under pressure. Ascend too fast and those bubbles expand inside your tissues, your joints, your spinal cord, your brain. Survivors describe it as being crushed from the inside. Some are permanently paralyzed. Some die. And the pressure to ascend quickly doesn't come from recklessness. It often comes from the surface, from a deadline, from a contract, from a man in a dry office deciding that the pipeline inspection needs to be done by Thursday. But it gets stranger. There's a category of commercial diving called saturation diving. These divers descend to depths of up to 1,000 feet and live in pressurized chambers for weeks at a time, not visiting the deep. Living in it. Their bodies fully saturate with the surrounding gas mixture. They sleep, eat, and exist in a metal capsule the size of a camper van, at a pressure that would kill an unprepared person instantly. When they finally return to surface pressure, the process takes days, controlled, millimeter by millimeter. One wrong valve, and the decompression kills them in minutes. They do this voluntarily, repeatedly, for a salary. Then there's the job that most people on Earth have never heard of, performed by a group of workers who leave almost no cultural trace. In Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan, men dismantle supertankers by hand. These are vessels the length of 4 football fields, brought to shallow beaches and run aground at high tide. Workers climb aboard with cutting torches and begin taking them apart from the top down, piece by piece, selling the steel for scrap. The ships are filled with asbestos, heavy metals, toxic fuel residue, and chemicals accumulated over decades of operation. There is essentially no protective equipment. Explosions from residual gas pockets kill workers regularly. Asbestos-related disease works on a delay. The damage done today shows up as cancer 15 years from now, in a body that has long since stopped being tracked by any data system. The fatality records are incomplete by design. Nobody with the power to change this has a strong incentive to count carefully. These workers earn between $1 and $3 per day. The ships being dismantled often belong to companies headquartered in countries with robust workplace safety laws. Laws that, by geography alone, simply don't apply here. And here's the part that should make you stop. The ships have to be dismantled somewhere. The steel has to come from somewhere. The metal in infrastructure you use every day passed through hands the system was designed not to look at too closely. This is where the story stops being about other people. Every modern supply chain contains invisible labor. Not metaphorically invisible. Literally, workers performing functions that the end consumer is structurally prevented from seeing. The price of a product is not the cost of that product. It is the cost someone was willing to document. Everything below that threshold gets absorbed silently, often by a body. Economists have a phrase for it: externalized cost. The danger isn't eliminated, it's moved. Moved to whoever has the least power to refuse it. Moved until it disappears from view, which is not the same thing as disappearing. The fishing industry kills more workers per capita than almost any other. Crab fishing in the Bering Sea, deep-sea trawling in the North Atlantic, fishermen pulled overboard by gear, capsized in storms, trapped in flooding hulls in waters so cold that survival time is measured in minutes. They do it because the fish has to come from somewhere, and someone has to go get it. The infrastructure of daily life is built on a foundation of acceptable risk that was never accepted by the people bearing it. Here is the thing that stays with you. None of these industries lack technology. Logging has drones that can map tree fall zones before a chainsaw touches bark. Autonomous underwater vehicles can inspect pipelines without a human body anywhere near them. Ship recycling can be done in dry docks with full containment. These technologies exist. They are not science fiction. They are operational in contexts where the people doing the work have enough leverage to demand them. The danger isn't a technical problem waiting to be solved. It's a resource allocation problem that has already been solved, just not for everyone. And that forces a question that has no comfortable resting place. When we accept that some jobs will always carry a body count, We are making a decision about whose body counts. We don't make that decision loudly, in rooms with cameras. We make it quietly, through pricing structures and contract terms and the location of facilities and which safety regulations apply where. It's one of the oldest decisions human societies make. We just stopped calling it what it is. Right now, somewhere, a person is putting on gear that will not fully protect them, to do a job that cannot be done more safely, because doing it more safely would cost someone somewhere a margin they've decided not to give up. And the strange, unshakable part is this. We built a world sophisticated enough to calculate exactly how many of them will die this year. We just haven't decided that number should be 0.